Oh,
No, it doesn't.
it's hunting again.
I know, he might get me. I think he was in the living room.
It doesn't tell us in the van where you're up
Oh,
to.
he got me. So hopefully you've had a chance by now to check out Ghost Watchers. It's a new indie horror game, an early access release. It's a real fun game to play. You just saw some quick footage that did not go so well for me. So are you looking for some tips or want to compare notes? Well, you've come to the right place. Hopefully this will be helpful and hopefully make your experience more enjoyable, more fun to play. Here we go. When I begin a hunt, two of the most important pieces of equipment I typically bring in are the thermometer and the particle counter. So unlike other equipment, these two particular items will always register some form of evidence, which is very helpful when finding the particular ghost area or ghost type. As you might expect, the thermometer temperature will vary based on the ghost type as well as the location of the ghost in relation to you, and the particle counter will go off when you are in the presence of the ghost in the hunted area. A couple other pieces of equipment to consider are the Ouija board and the voodoo doll. These two pieces of equipment can produce evidence for the ghost type and or other characteristics, but they're often hard to get a response to. So the sooner you bring these in, the better. So when you enter the location, there's a few things to keep in mind as you explore the map. Throughout each map, you'll find a number of doors. You want to open all those doors as you see them. They're often an objective and or sometimes a means to weaken the ghost, so opening those doors is a good step to take while you're walking around. Another thing would be lights. Throughout the map, you'll find a number of lights and light switches. Some of them will blow when you turn them on, but there's typically a weakening step for the ghost to have 5 lights turned on. So it helps to get those 5 lights. When you have hit that, you will hear some type of audible notation that you've accomplished that objective. So it's good to do that anyway, beyond just being able to see. There are taps throughout the map, i.e. sinks and showers, that you should turn on as well as you walk around. Keep in mind where they're located because another part of that might be to have to turn them off as part of another objective. But as you go, it's good to turn them on in bathrooms and showers and whatnot. So keep that in mind as you explore. And the last thing I'll note are candles. In each map, you'll find a number of candles sitting on desks, tables, and other locations. It's good to light those as you go. One of you should bring a lighter pretty early on and take care of those. And also make note of where they're located because another step in the process, whether objectives or weakening, may be to blow those candles out. So again, candles are important. So doors, lights, taps, and candles are important things to consider as you explore the map. The next thing we'll go over is some general ghost tips. First tip, and it's pretty helpful, is you can identify the ghost type by the appearance. So you don't necessarily have to have all the evidence to identify the ghost. One of the most common phrases you can ask is for the ghost to show itself or to show yourself. And typically it will do so. It'll also do that throughout the hunt. So keep an eye out for the look of the ghost, and each of those ghosts will be unique looking in your encyclopedia. So you can check that out and help narrow down the ghost type. As I said, you don't need all the particular evidence to identify the ghost type, mood, and other characteristics. Often it's a process of elimination, so you can narrow those down as you go. You may get the ghost type by appearance. You may identify some type of interaction or not. So it leaves you very limited choices, and so you can ultimately identify the type of ghost and the various ages and mood that it's in just by process of elimination. And also, don't be afraid to select does not interact. Oftentimes we try very hard to get something to interact with, say, the Ouija board or the voodoo doll. You'll be able to quickly identify if you've picked the wrong item and therefore the wrong characteristic, and be able to backtrack pretty quickly. So oftentimes you'll sit there asking for it to interact, and it ultimately will not. Don't waste time doing that. Lastly, each ghost has a number of items that it is weak to, and that you can use for protection against ghost attack. As well, there are various items that allow you to accomplish objectives. Whatever those items may be, take note and keep those items in your inventory as much as possible. Also, keep in mind as you are attacked by the ghost, you have an opportunity to switch items in your hand. You may not have a weakening or objective item in your hands at the moment, but you are carrying it. You can switch your inventory around and interact with that ghost and save your life. And as long as there's an objective open, the objective item can work as well. If you want more of this type of content, subscribe below. Now let's get back to it. Remember we mentioned while exploring to take advantage of doors, lights, taps, and candles. Well, the very reason you do that is often they are associated with objectives, but in addition, they are often part of the ghost weakening process before you actually capture it. Ghost weakening details and the related items are often overlap with each other based on ghost types. So you may have 90% of the same weakening items for two different type of ghost with one minor difference. So don't be afraid to try those items, even if you don't have all the evidence. You'll quickly learn in the weakening process if you have something incorrect, and can backtrack a bit to clean that up and ultimately catch the ghost. We've already mentioned that certain items can be used for protection and to complete objectives, but in addition to that, you may also have items in your inventory that are part of the weakening process, similar to objectives. So having those on hand and ready to use should you be attacked by the ghost or should the ghost appear is very important and can help save time weakening the ghost and ultimately capturing it, so keep that in mind. Another thing to consider if you're playing multiplayer games, whether it's pre-mades or in lobbies, would be to split the weakening items between party members. This would allow you to carry a couple items each and ultimately trigger down the weakness of the ghost quicker as it appears. It's often not visible for a long time, so taking advantage of those visibility points is often very helpful, very useful, and it expedites the capture. As it stands now in the current state, certain equipment can interfere with certain particular weakening processes. So if the equipment's in the way or is triggering a protection, it might be a good idea to remove that equipment for the time being as you complete the different steps in the weakening process. The last thing I'll mention on weakening the ghost is when you've successfully completed a weakening step, you will hear a sound and be able to review that last step completed on the truck screen. As you reference those items, you can tell where you are in the process. Hopefully you enjoyed this guide and tips so far, and we're going to finish up with a few tips for capturing the ghost itself. This first ghost capture tip is more of a reminder, but I do want to say it. Be sure someone has the capture ball as you begin the weakening process of the ghost, or certainly as you get towards the middle or end of it. You want to be ready. If that ghost were to appear, you are able to use a couple of items and really tick through that weakening step. You want to be ready to actually capture it before it disappears. So remember to bring that ball. Secondly, that goes along with that is you actually want to make sure you've completed all the weakening steps. You should be able to hear those as you go. You should be able to track those steps on the computer in the truck, but just make sure you've gone through all of them, particularly the last couple. Sometimes if you've gotten the ghost wrong or a particular piece of evidence incorrect, you might be selecting the wrong bomb or the wrong salt, so you may not actually accomplish those objectives. So be sure to double check that before you try to finish up. You'll know if you didn't get it right when you try to capture the ghost and it fails. As you're hunting that ghost, as you're weakening that ghost, don't forget protection items. And what I mean by that are items that it is weak to or even irritated. If you're attacked or you're grabbed and you happen to not have one of those in your inventory, you're done. So be sure just to pick one of those up, carry that as one of your three as you apply the other items to try to weaken it. Sometimes those are one and the same, but either way, make sure you have that to protect yourself. Hopefully this has been helpful to you. I've enjoyed putting it together. I've enjoyed playing the game. I look forward to it progressing. I particularly enjoy multiplayer, and I would invite you and encourage you to try that as well. It certainly helps you increase your difficulty maps, difficulty levels. Don't be afraid to venture out. Worst thing that happens is you die and you start over again. Everybody out there, enjoy Ghost Watchers, and we'll catch you next time.